Beloved soul, welcome into this sacred and chosen moment. There is someone who carries a profound and genuine love for you deep within their heart. Yet this very person has made a deliberate choice to remain at a distance. Before your mind begins to race and your thoughts start searching for explanations, I need you to pause right now. Breathe slowly and deeply. Because the message that is reaching your spirit in this exact moment is not ordinary. It is not random. This precise moment, these very words, and this perfect timing are being orchestrated by something far greater than coincidence. Heaven itself is confirming what your inner spirit has quietly known all along. Beneath all the confusion and the unanswered questions that have been weighing on your heart, a divine truth has been waiting to be revealed. Nothing arriving at your door right now is without purpose or meaning. The Lord often speaks his hidden truths in the stillness, and you can only receive them when you stop rushing and become quiet enough to listen. Your spirit already recognizes what is real, beloved. There is someone in your story, perhaps someone who was once very close, who carries a devotion so deep they struggle to put it into words. They feel an intensity they do not know how to manage, and a longing they cannot release no matter how much distance they place between you. Do not allow their silence to deceive you into believing they do not care. Their quiet is not emptiness. It is overflowing with feelings too powerful to contain. As their love grows stronger, their need to retreat also increases, as if loving you has become both the most beautiful gift they have ever received and the heaviest burden they have ever carried. This is the truth their heart knows clearly, even as their actions try to conceal it. They keep their distance because you reach them at the very center of who they are. You awakened something that had been sleeping for a very long time, something buried beneath years of emotional armor and careful self-protection. If you are walking through the pain of loving someone who keeps pulling away, pause right now and write in the comments, "I believe in God." This is not just a comment. It is a declaration of faith. It opens your heart to receive the divine clarity that only heaven can provide. As it is written in Proverbs 4:23, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Beloved, your heart is precious and God sees every question it is carrying right now. You change this person in ways that go deeper than they can fully understand. You help them see parts of themselves they had never allowed another soul to witness. You gently opened walls they had spent years carefully constructing. You reached a place in their spirit that even they did not know existed. To them, you are not simply another person who passed through their life. You are a mirror that reflects both what they deeply desire and what they are most afraid of losing. You show them their hopes and their oldest unhealed wounds all at once. They have never encountered feelings this real, this powerful, or this difficult to bring under control. You reached past their guards without even trying, and in your presence their soul felt open, seen, and completely unguarded. Vulnerability was never something they were taught was safe. Yet with you, it felt natural. You were never part of the life they had planned. You arrived unexpectedly and shifted their entire world in ways they still cannot fully describe. They did not anticipate the deep connection they felt when you spoke. They did not prepare for the quiet peace they experienced when you were near. And they were not ready for the terrifying reality that your absence would feel like losing something essential to their very breath. Beloved, declare this boldly in the comments right now. I seek God first. This declaration guards your spirit against confusion and keeps your discernment sharp. This person stays distant not because their feelings are weak, but because your emotional power over their spirit fills them with a fear they cannot overcome. You have become the one whose thoughts and words hold more weight than anyone else in their life, and that makes you a mirror they are not yet prepared to stand before. Loving you feels to them like stepping off the edge of something very high without knowing whether anything soft waits below. So rather than taking that step, they remain frozen in a self-imposed isolation that protects them from the very thing their heart is crying out for. Deep within their silence lives a quiet but persistent voice telling them that you deserve someone more whole, more healed, and more steady than they currently feel themselves to be. They replay past moments and past mistakes in their mind, afraid that their unhealed wounds will bring disorder into something too precious to damage. They tell themselves they are not ready enough to meet you as their best self, and so they wait in the distance, watching the life they truly want from a place they refuse to leave. 1 Corinthians 14:33 reminds us clearly, "For God is not the author of confusion, but of peace." If what you are experiencing brings constant unrest and unanswered questions, heaven wants you to know that God sees your struggle. Write this in the comments as an act of faith. God's plan will stand. Let this declaration be your anchor in the middle of emotional uncertainty. They sense the bond between you in places where logic cannot reach. No matter how far they go, you remain a permanent presence within their inner world. Every distraction they reach for falls short. Every replacement they attempt feels hollow and out of place, because deep within, their heart has remained loyal to what you shared, even as their mind remains afraid of the vulnerability you represent. Their attempt to push you away has only caused the connection to grow stronger and more undeniable within the deeper parts of who they are. Their silence is full of truths they have never spoken, weighted down by the pain of past disappointments that taught them closeness leads to suffering. They are testing their own strength. They are trying to discover whether they can stand alone before they are capable of standing beside you. Beneath the surface of their independence, in the quiet of the night, they lie awake beneath the weight of everything left unsaid. They know instinctively that even one honest step toward you will shift everything, a transformation they do not yet feel prepared to face. Type this boldly in the comments right now. I will not settle for less than God's best. This declaration seals your worth in the spiritual realm and reminds heaven that you know your value, beloved. They recognize that one moment of complete honesty will make their emotions impossible to deny any further. And once that truth is spoken aloud, there is no returning to the safety of the shadows. To love you fully is to commit to everything. And right now, that level of surrender frightens them more than they can easily express. They tell themselves they are waiting for the right time. They say they need to grow stronger first, to heal a little more, to become the version of themselves they believe you deserve. But beloved, their spirit already knows what Ecclesiastes 3 teaches us. There is a time for every purpose under heaven, and the perfect time for love is rarely the one we feel fully prepared for. Even from the distance they have created, they are haunted by one question above all others. Does your heart still hold a space for them, or have you finally closed that door? The truth the angels are revealing is this: they are coming back, not when they are perfect and without fear, but when the pain of your absence finally grows heavier than the fear of being fully seen. Write this in the comments as your shield of faith. I trust God above my feelings. This is not weakness, beloved. This is the highest form of protection your spirit can carry. To the outside world, they appear composed and undisturbed. But this separation is a quiet wound that strikes them every time the noise of daily life fades into stillness. They do not miss you the way one misses a passing memory. They miss you the way a person misses the only place they have ever truly felt at home. Everything felt lighter and more genuine in your company. Everything felt more like itself. As Psalm 34:18 promises us, the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. God sees both your pain and theirs, beloved. He is working in both hearts even now. If you are new to this sacred space, I want to warmly welcome you to Angel's Whisper. This channel exists to carry divine messages, angelic insight, and prophetic understanding to souls who are walking through the deepest questions of the heart. I invite you to subscribe and turn on your notifications so that every message of guidance and truth reaches you without delay. And take a moment right now to type in the comments: blessed and ready. This is your agreement with heaven that you are open to receive what God has already prepared for you. At night, when sleep will not come and they stare upward into the dark, their thoughts fill with the words they never spoke, the apologies they still owe, the truths they held back when courage failed them, the moments they would choose differently if given the chance. They think about reaching out. They imagine what they would say if fear stepped aside for even one moment. They compose long messages in their mind and delete them before they are ever sent. They look at your name and wait for bravery to arrive. They rehearse conversations they are too afraid to begin, and every attempt ends with the same heavy question: what if it is already too late? What if you have already moved forward without them? What if the door has closed? Yet even beneath that fear, they cannot stop believing that you still feel the thread connecting you. They wonder if your heart still recognizes theirs the way theirs recognizes yours. They wonder if in your quiet moments your spirit still reaches toward them without invitation. There are nights when they feel certain you are thinking of them too, as though something invisible is moving between you across the distance. Declare this now in the comments with courage. True love builds, not breaks. Let this truth anchor your heart and protect your discernment, beloved. They are afraid of losing you permanently, and yet they continue creating the very distance that makes that loss more likely. It is a deep contradiction they have not yet found the strength to resolve. They run from the one thing that could truly restore them. They go silent about the very thing they most need to express. They deny themselves the love that could change everything because they have never fully believed they deserve something this genuine. If they appear cold or indifferent, know that it is only a covering. It is a form of survival. They learned at some point in their story that showing feelings invites risk, that depending on another person reveals weakness, and that loving deeply is an invitation for future pain. So they built walls, thick and carefully maintained, and then you arrived. And without effort or intention, you walked through those walls and reached the place behind them. That is why they step back. That is why they disappear when the connection grows too real. They have tried to rebuild those walls since you reached them. But every attempt fails because their heart keeps returning to you regardless of what their mind decides. They wait for the right moment, but deep within themselves they already know that no perfect moment exists for something this powerful. They keep telling themselves they need more time to heal, more time to grow, more time to learn how to love without holding back in fear. But time has slowly become their prison rather than their preparation. Every day of silence adds more weight to the truth. Every day of distance makes returning feel harder rather than simpler. Every day of pretending presses the reality down deeper where it builds pressure instead of fading. They picture returning in a way that is strong and brave, with the right words already formed and no trembling in their voice. They imagine approaching you with the calm confidence of someone who has already resolved every inner war. But beloved, life does not pause and wait for complete courage. Love does not withhold itself until every wound is fully healed. As Romans 8:28 assures us, in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. Sometimes the only path forward is to step out before the landing is visible. They are slowly learning what fear has cost them. They are beginning to understand that waiting for perfection causes people to lose the very things that matter most. They stand still, wanting to move, held in place by something they are finally becoming strong enough to release. They feel the hand of heaven gently pressing them toward you while fear pulls in the opposite direction. They are learning to be quiet enough inside themselves to hear the deeper truth speaking beneath the noise. Type this with bold faith in the comments. I am chosen, not an option. Let this truth settle into the deepest place of your spirit and stay there, beloved. They have come to wonder whether you have grown stronger without them, whether you have found a way to move forward, whether you have stopped searching for what you once shared. And the thought of that possibility wounds them in ways they cannot easily explain or recover from. They would rather endure the quiet suffering of distance than face the devastating discovery that they waited too long and the opening has already closed. But beneath all the fear and all the delay, one truth remains unshaken. They never stopped loving you. The distance was never a sign that love grew smaller. The distance exists precisely because love grew so vast and so overwhelming that they could not carry it without feeling crushed beneath its weight. They are not gone from your story forever, beloved. They are gathering strength piece by piece. They are fighting an inner battle between the fear they know and the destiny they can feel. They are learning, slowly and through real difficulty, that silence does not protect love. It only weakens what it was meant to guard. There will come a moment, either gradually or all at once, when something within them finally opens. A moment when their heart speaks louder than every fear they have carried. A moment when choosing not to come back to you causes more pain than the risk of returning fully. On that day, the separation will end. Not halfway and not with uncertainty, but completely. Because this story is not finished. Your chapter together remains open. Love this deep does not simply disappear. It transforms and it grows, even through the silence. As Isaiah 43:19 reminds us, "See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland." God is making a way, beloved, even now. Even in the waiting. Even in the silence you are standing in today. While it may feel as though nothing is changing, Everything within them is shifting. The distance has forced them into a confrontation with themselves that no distraction could prevent. Being without you has functioned like a mirror, showing them everything they once tried to escape. It has exposed truths they attempted to bury. It has stripped away layers of protection built carefully over many years. Now they stand face to face with themselves without the cover of busyness, without the numbness of distractions, and without any remaining excuse to avoid what they truly feel. They are discovering who they actually are beneath the pretending. They are recognizing that what they once called strength, shutting down, pulling away, and choosing isolation, was never strength at all. It was simply a way to survive. And surviving is not the same as truly living. They are understanding now what Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 teaches us. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your paths. They are beginning to acknowledge the truth and allow God to direct their path back toward what is real. Declare this with courage in the comments, beloved. I will wait for God's best, not man's half-heart. This is the wisdom of heaven speaking directly over your life right now. They look back toward you now with new vision, recognizing someone who helped them feel safe enough to hope again, someone they could not wear a mask around. The time of distance gave them the space to think with clarity they did not have before, and now they see with new eyes what fear had hidden. They understand how deeply you saw them. And that understanding still frightens them, because being truly seen means being open to loss. Being open means risking something precious, but they are gradually arriving at a truth they could not accept before. The real risk is not the possibility of losing you. The real risk is allowing fear to rob them of something rare and irreplaceable. They cannot love you completely while still hiding the parts of themselves they have always avoided. They cannot build something lasting while sheltering behind emotional walls. They cannot move toward you while still carrying the full weight of unhealed pain. So they are doing the difficult work. They are releasing old patterns they once believed were permanent. They are allowing life to pull them through hard but necessary growth, moving them through who they were and toward who they are meant to be. They once feared being loved because something inside them said they were unworthy of it. But you broke that false belief simply by being who you are. You made them feel human enough to be fully themselves, and that truth frightened them more deeply than anything they had faced before. In their private moments of reflection, they return again and again to the gentle sound of your voice, the peace of your presence, and the understanding in your quiet moments together. You gave them something real, and they did not know how to receive it fully because they had never been taught that real love was safe to hold. They once believed that love had to be complicated and uncertain because that was all they had been shown. But with you, it felt entirely different. Their greatest fear was never that you would leave. Their deepest fear was that they would disappoint you, that you would look closely and discover the imperfections they had always felt ashamed of. What they are learning now, slowly and with great effort, is that you never demanded perfection from them. You never required them to be without flaw. Love is not about being flawless. It is about being willing to show up fully and truthfully. As Matthew 6:33 reminds us, seek first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. When love is grounded in God's truth, it has no need for perfection, only presence. Seal this truth in the comments right now, beloved. I will not fight for a counterfeit. I will wait for my covenant. Let these words become your declaration and your protection. Every day they live with the hollow weight of their own choice. Every morning without you carries a burden that no longer makes sense to them. Every night as they close their eyes, you are the last thought that arrives. They know with a certainty that cannot be argued away that love like this does not come often. Their distance is not bringing them power. It is costing them the very thing they are trying to preserve. They feel the universe pressing them to move, to grow, and to finally face what they have been running from. They sense the connection growing stronger rather than fading. What they believed time would reduce, time has only made more undeniable. Every hollow day without you works as a quiet reminder of what their fear caused them to set aside. Every morning apart proves that silence did not reduce what they feel. It only made it grow more patient and more powerful. They are learning the lesson that can only be learned through genuine loss. You cannot replace a soul bond. You cannot hide from true destiny. You cannot permanently run from the person God has written into your story. The transition from retreating to returning is already beginning within them. They see now that the safe distance they maintained was never truly safe at all. It was a slow and quiet loss of the very life they were meant to live. Healing is beginning in them because they are growing brave enough to stop running from closeness. They are allowing themselves to be seen in their full and unpolished truth. They are mentally preparing for the moment of return, rehearsing the words that have waited too long to be spoken. I am sorry. I was not ready. And I never stopped caring. Beloved, take a moment now and type in the comments, I trust closed doors are God's protection. Because every closed door and every silent season has been working something beautiful in your spirit as well. They understand now that you are the one who cannot be replaced, the one who awakened something in their spirit that will never return to sleep. The understanding has landed in them that waiting any longer risks a regret too heavy to carry, a weight far more painful than the fear of being vulnerable. Every morning without you echoes with what their fear made them release, and that echo has grown too loud to ignore any longer. They are coming back, beloved, not as a half version of themselves, not with excuses or conditions, but fully, honestly, and with the kind of presence that comes only after a person has fought the hardest battle of their inner life and finally chosen truth over fear. When they stand before you again, it will be with a clear mind, a surrendered heart, and a devotion that has been tested by distance and proven real, because this story is still being written. Your chapter remains beautifully open. And what God has ordained for your life cannot be permanently delayed, cannot be stolen, and cannot be destroyed. Isaiah 40:31 promises, "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint." Place your hope in God above all else, beloved, and He will lead you into the love that has already been written for you, without confusion, without compromise, and without doubt. If this message has spoken directly to your heart, take a moment to like this video so that other souls walking through the same silence can receive this truth as well. And if you have not yet joined this sacred community, subscribe to Angel's Whisper and turn on your notifications. Every message shared here is sent with divine purpose to guide you closer to truth, to peace, and to God's perfect plan for your life. Let us close this message in faith, beloved soul. Type boldly in the comments right now, "Blessed and ready," because you are blessed, you are seen, and heaven has already prepared the covenant love that is truly and completely yours.